Good morning, Flosstube. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Stuart and the channel name is Stuarts and Stitches. This is Flosstube number 20 and I'm recording on today, Sunday the 20th of April 2025, which is Easter Day. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate and happy Sunday to others who don't. Hope you're having a lovely day when you're viewing this. Hope you're stitching. There's a lot to get through today, so buckle down and let's see what's happening. First of all, welcome back to my subscribers, to all of you who follow me on a weekly basis. It's nice to spend some time with you. Thank you for welcoming me into your Stitchy Corner. To those who have found me and are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy what I share with you. Please think about giving me a thumbs up and a subscribe. Ring the bell to get notified. I'm posting weekly just now, which is working well. This may well continue. I was worried about I might not have enough content to share to fill a weekly video, but so far so good. It's going well, happy with that. If you want to get in touch with me, please leave comments below, and I enjoy engaging in the dialogue there. As always, please let me know what you're stitching on just now while you're watching. It's always interesting to see the wide variety of things that people are stitching. As always, sends me scurrying to the internet to have a look if I don't recognise the name of a piece. Gives me a good inspiration of things I might want to buy in the future for future planning. Not that I need any more, but one can never have enough. Where was I going with that? Oh, well, we've started rabbiting already. Oh, I've lost my track. Oh well. Continuing on. Oh yes, comments and dialogue and getting in touch. That's where we were. Also on Instagram, you'll find me under Stuarts and Stitches. I generally post at least once a day, sometimes twice. Usually my temperature stitching and generally later in the day what else I might have been working on that day. And you can also get in touch with me over email, stuartsandstitches@gmail.com. These links will be provided in the intro, the details box below, the show notes as they're sometimes referred to. So I'm glancing down at my notes. I've got quite a lot to get through today, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Anyway, overall, welcome to everybody who's watching the channel. It's lovely to spend time with you. But today we're going to be talking about whips. I have a finished object to show you from my collection of finished objects. We have a couple of bags from the cupboard of doom to go through. We have some wonderful Stitchy kindness to talk about. And there's some voting to be done. This is a new thing, which we will talk about later on. Which I think you might quite enjoy. I shall certainly enjoy doing it, and I look forward to the outcome next week. More of that as we go through. So without further ado, let's go into the whips. So today will be the temperature stitching. So I'm just moving my notes so as I can get to my diary. I've managed to stitch every day since we last spoke. And diary. There we go. I don't know if you actually see what's on the page there, but hey ho, you can see I've been writing things on it. So temperature stitching this week comprised of 3 pieces. The temperatures didn't vary that much in the central belt of Scotland. It's been a kind of dreich week, one way or another, and particularly chillier than it was the previous week. But then we are only in April, it is Scotland, what does one expect? So first up will be, what was it? This will be last Sunday. This piece got 4 days of stitching this week. This is a history of chocolate story keep from Heaven and Earth Designs. This I'm extracting from the supersized version of Book of Dreams by Randall Spangler. So the whole piece with all the book spines is about, that way it's about 999 stitches, but up and down it's 475. And the bookmark I'm doing is 84 stitches wide. So it's not that big, but there's some lovely detail in it, as you will see. Let me just reach and collect. I have them to the side of me. I have things to the side of me, to the behind me, to the front of me. I have things everywhere. So this is being stitched on a piece of 18 count oddment that I have, as inspired by Kim, the Spartan Stitcher, who suggested doing these story keeps as a way of filling up the odd scraps of the odd fragments and scraps of fabric you might have. Words this morning are proving challenging. This could be fun. So she had suggested this, and I think it was Full Coverage Fanatics on Facebook. as a way of using up these oddments of fabric one might have, and I think it's an excellent idea. I was fully on board with that. So I have two in this piece of fabric. One you won't see today, it's not been worked on, but you have seen it before, What Lies Within, and then the other one which I'm just about to show you. Let me get my stats up. I do have it in Pattern Keeper. So at the moment we're sitting at 2,653 stitches. Now I did the sums yesterday to work out how many stitches were in this segment, and I wrote it down somewhere. I can't remember what it was now. I think it worked out about 37,000 stitches roughly, and I'm out about 6%. So I'm losing out the window. I've just seen the neighbours walking past taking their dog for a walk. Amazing what you see from the windows up here. I love it. And this week this piece got, let's see if I can do the sums, 200, 300 and 10, and go back a page, 110, 410, 423 stitches, which is not bad. So I finished a diagonal, I'm back down to the bottom and getting over to the next diagonal, just sorting my threads out here because there's part threads here, there and everywhere. So here's where we are. Right, there we go. And so I finished this diagonal up here. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. A lady commented last week saying that I was a bit quieter than normal, so I'll try and speak a wee bit louder, but hopefully in general you can hear me. Carl nearly fell off the seat when I read that comment out to him, saying, "You're never quiet." So the detail in this is tremendous. I'm loving it. So say I got 405. I got 400 odd stitches last week, which is really good. So making good progress. However, that's now had 10 days of stitching joy. Hang on a second, I just need to wipe my nose. That's at 10 days of stitching joy now, at least. I'm not sure I'm fairly religious in marking these off. In temperature stitching, so it's time for it to rotate out and be replaced by something else. The something else yet is not yet known. But I am not lost for choice, and if anything I'm spoiled for choice. I'll have a wee scramble around and see what there is I might want to put in its place to get a wee bit of progress on. So we'll have a scramble on the shelves, and more than that will come out probably next week. But I'm very pleased with how that's doing. That leads me on to a question that somebody asked me, and this has come up a couple of times. Why do I like stitching on the diagonal? Partly because I do. I think it looks really good. I like that that diagonal line going up and down. Partly because, in theory, it should avoid lines. Normally, if you're parking and you're going up and down in regular columns, there is a risk of lines appearing between the columns, but just because of the tension of going back and forward. I'm not really experienced that because my tension's not all that tight, but I will have no comments about loose, please. Thank you very much. But I like the diagonal. I get to see more of the pattern. It's more interesting for me. It keeps it fun. As I'm going up and down that diagonal, more and more it's getting released. The pattern is getting revealed to me, so that's why I like it. It's just something a bit different. We all do different things for our stitching to keep us going, and the full coverages, you've got to do something to keep you going at times, because they are fairly lifelong, aren't they? Right, so that was History of Chocolate. Next one I have on my list is Santa's House. Santa's House came out twice and got 231 stitches, which means it now looks like, I did have this hoid out, oh there, it's just over to the side of me. Right, so here's what Santa's House will look like. As I've said before, and as some of you have agreed with me, I think, these lovely designs from Cottage Garden Samplings, the Fabulous House series, they are lovely. They are deceptive though, not in their complexity, but in the amount of stitching that has to be done. There's a lovely border goes all the way around. We all love a border. Then there's this massive house in the middle. But mind, it should be the whole thing's around fabulous houses, so what would one expect? Anyway, Where's Stuart got to this week? Let's have a look. There's where Stuart got to. So I did this, I was up to about there in that lamppost. I finished that lamppost. Very pleased how that turned out. I think it looks really nice. And I've been working over this kind of grey area here. This is an overdyed thread, Plymouth Rock I think it's called, if I recall correctly. And this has been stitched in a 32 count piece of something. Chalk, I think, from West Greenloft Yarns. It's looking a bit squib, but that's only because it's in the Q snap, don't panic. And I've got plenty of room in this fabric to get at least another one on here. Because I have 4 of them to do. I've got this one, I've got the Castle, I've got Hobbit. I haven't got 4, I've got 3. And there will be a 4th because I want to get Tudor House, the extra one that was brought out. I quite fancy that one. I'm loving how it's turning out though. Looking good. So that's Santa's house. Let me just put the chart back on it. I don't want to be losing the chart, you know. Right, and then that was that one. And I think the last piece, just checking through, making sure I'm not missing any. Yes, the last piece was Catching Rays, my largest full coverage piece. This one I totally blame in Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. As soon as she said, oh, it's my largest piece, I thought, oh, I've got to have that. And off I went to look for it, and I bought it some time ago. I've probably told you this before, but this is a restart. I did start it on 32 count because it's such a huge piece. I started in 32 count 1/1 full cross, but it was just, I wasn't enjoying it in the 32 count. It was just too small for me. I tried various ways on it, but it just wasn't working for me, so I ditched it to that. I'd only done about 3,000 stitches out of 1,000,000. That's really not even a drop in the ocean. So I decided to restart it on 25 count, and I'm much happier with that. I feel much better about doing it, and I enjoy working it much more. So the piece I'm talking about is Catching Rays from the Cross Stitch Studio. Hang on till I bring up the details. The artwork is by Abraham Hunter, as I recall. I keep wanting to say Abraham Lincoln, but I know it's not Abraham Lincoln. It's Abraham Hunter. It's 134 colours, 1200 by 900, which gives me 1,080,000 stitches. And it will look like, I'm viewing the mock-up, that. And I'm down here as usual, somewhere along this beautiful coral at the bottom. There we go, but at least you can see what I'm talking about then. Lovely, lovely design. Jen's away up here. She started doing a kind of checkerboard thing going on over the pages, but she's now trying, I think she's working to convert it to a diagonal. Oh, somebody asked where Mickey is, Mickey Mouse. He is still here. My Mickey Mouse lights are here. You're sitting on him just now. It's just because it's a bit brighter here nowadays. I've not got the lights on. They'll come back on as we get in towards the back end of the year. But don't worry, Mickey's still here. So this at the moment is sitting at 4,185 stitches out of that 1,080,000, and it's a 0.39%. And this week I got 108 stitches. Progress is progress. Right, here we are. So part threads everywhere. Let's see if I can get this into some way of showing it. Oh, here we go. This looks alright. And I was working up the diagonal as usual. So here's where we are. And let's try and get this a bit straight so as you can actually see something. Aye, there we go. Aye, that's better. Right. The detail in this is lovely. Betsy's charting is superb. So we've just got bits of the coral coming in the green at the bottom of the sea. And there's lots more to come. And that's 4,000, as I said, that's 4,000 odd stitches sitting there that you're looking at on 25 count, 1/1 full cross using CXC threads. The odd random stitches you're seeing here. Now, I'd started this off doing cross country within a page, but then decided that no, I like the diagonals. The other reason I like the diagonals, I like that sense of completion as you complete each line and each diagonal when you're working up. This one is doing, my diagonals are 20 wide on this because it's gridded. Normally if I'm working on ungridded fabric I would just do 10, unless it's fairly simple like my pretty piece from Heaven and Earth that's in my temperature stitching that you've seen before. So that's that one. Let's see if I can get this folded up again. I didn't fully unfold the fabric because there's a bedspread here. This would actually fit in our bed, I think. It's a king size for the two of us. Right, let me just put this away before we get lost. So that's the temperature stitching. There's only 3 pieces this week, but all the stitching done in it. I'm very pleased with the progress. There's one day I didn't do temperature stitching, but I carried that forward to the... That was on Thursday, but I carried that forward to the Friday, so I did it then. So, moving on to the whips. What are we going to talk about in the whips? Right, first off, let's have a look at Anne Morrison. I haven't done much in Anne Morrison this week. This was a sampler from Heaven and Earth, not Heaven and Earth Designs, Hands Across the Sea. I forgot to pull the booklet. Let's see if I can pull the booklet without causing a disaster on my trolley. Oh, here we go. So, when she's finished, she's going to look like that. I have reached round about this area here, where the Algerian islets are, which put a break in my progress for about 3 years. But then I decided to suck it up, Stuart, pick it up, get the magnifiers on, and slowly get on. Maybe do 3 islets a day or something like that, which is exactly what I did, and what has been the way forward. I haven't done much this week though, because I was engrossed with another piece which we'll talk about shortly. However, so this has been stitched on 46 count. This is my first time on such a high count of fabric. Part of the problem is it's very tightly woven, so seeing the holes when you're doing 16 leg eyelets is a bit challenging. The normal stitching is fine through my normal lamp. It's no problem with that at all. You just take your time and on you go, as you will see. So, where did I get to? So last week you saw I'd finished the heart, and now I've started working. I've got a path to work along here and then work back to complete the eyelets for this band here, and that'll be that done then. So I'm just working through that just now, and that's proven not too difficult actually. Because unlike the heart, it's because the eyelets are next to each other or enclosed within and surrounded by other eyelets. And the letters are much the same as well. They're only bound maybe on one side, so it makes it a lot easier. This heart nearly broke me. But there's another set of letters to go in here because of the family initials, the typical Scottish sampler. And overall, that's what she looks like. She's gorgeous. That path I'm following, that was given out by Rose Heck, I think it was, in the Facebook group that was a sal for this. There's a lot of folk had come up with some paths, also with the letters. A lovely lady called Angela, her husband had plotted out a path for doing the individual letters, so you didn't have to stop and start after each eyelet. You could do, it was almost like doing a half an eyelet going one way and then finishing it and come back the other way. That was very, very helpful for the eyelets that are done. Where am I going to put this? It's not going to crash to the ground. Well, it's going to the ground anyway, to sort out afterwards. So that was Anne. The next piece, so you may remember I showed 2 or 3 weeks ago a box from the Historical Sampler Company, which they very kindly gave me to show in the channel. This is for their their spring stitch along rather, Secret Garden stitch along. So parts 1 and 2 are out now, and I thought, well, maybe time I started part 1. Why wouldn't I? So I did. It lives in this lovely bag that came with the kit, which says, crafting is my therapy. How true is that for us all? Lovely thread colours. So there's the threads. It's very pretty. And I have made a start. This has been stitched in 32 count platinum linen. What way round does this go? That way. There's a couple of trailing threads because I know these colours are going to be used next. But there's where I was starting in the centre. So those green things that's sticking up at the bottom is going to be plants. There's going to be some nice wee flowers around there. And the thing in the middle is a bird table. It's looking, I enjoy stitching that this week. So that'll get some more love at some point soon. So there's that. I'll just put that away. Lovely chunky zip, by the way. So I can sit there. Right, there was a restart for one of my whips. So this, if you watch Darren, you'll be very familiar with this piece. This piece I'm going to be talking about is supersized, max colour, Tiger Family in the Jungle, artwork by Jan Patrick Krasny. Sorry, gathering my bits together here, and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Now let's see what we've got on this. So this is in Pattern Keeper. What did we do without Pattern Keeper, by the way? So this is a huge piece because it's supersize and it's max colour. So we're talking 999 by 728, and it contains 240 colours. I mean, why wouldn't I do that to myself? Just why would I not do that to myself? The mock-up will be, this is what it will look like when somebody one day finishes it. I am down here. So, I started this about 2 or 3 years ago. I'll just tell you what I've stitched in it so far. Yesterday I picked this, restarted it yesterday. I got 298 stitches out of, well, I do like this number. 727272. Something very satisfying about that. 727,272 stitches is the total, and I've got 0.04% complete. Yes, I started this, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, in a piece of 28 count fabric. I was doing it 2/1/10 stitch, and I finished a page. I got about 7,000 stitches into it, and I never picked it up again. Part because it was so tough to work through. I wasn't happy with how it was. I mean, looking at it just now from a distance, it doesn't look too bad, but it was. I wasn't enjoying the working on it. I wasn't enjoying trying to force a needle through, puncturing my finger, all the normal stuff that one might find with a carpet of fabric and threads. It was like a huge, a very thick tapestry. I've cut this piece off the 28 count bed sheet that I had, because that 28 count will come in useful for another full coverage. But here's where I'd got to before. So it looks not bad, doesn't it? You've got a lovely blue flower and something red here. But the texture, it's, look at that mess on the back. Catherine, this would have you in knots. Catherine is Catherine Stitches, lovely Irish girl who does amazing full coverage work. I'll probably link her below, and you should go give her a watch. Her full coverage working is amazing. Anyway, so that is not getting progressed anymore. That's been cut out. That piece of fabric will come in useful for, well, when we come to do this voting thing, it might come in useful for whatever comes out of the voting. Yeah, I cut that out just to let you see where I got to. So that's getting ditched, and that's fine. I'll be stitching this for years and decades, so I might as well enjoy what I'm stitching on. I had a wee chat to Darren about it, I think, because I was telling him what I was thinking to do, and yeah, we both came to the same conclusion. If I'm going to be stitching this for years, I might as well stitch it in a way that I actually enjoy. So we got a start yesterday. Small start. There we go. And I'm doing this on double diagonals. Jen, I wonder why I've started doing double diagonals. If you watch Jen the Crafty Crafter, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So instead of doing my diagonals as 20s, I'll do double diagonals at 40, because I'll get to see a bit more of the progress then. I don't know if it's going to make it any quicker or not, but I'll enjoy it, and that's all that matters. So there's not much to see. There's a lot of black. There's a wee bit of very dark blues going on in here. 929s, 823. I think there's a 550 crept in somewhere. So that'll be kept going. I enjoyed that this week. It kind of helped. You might remember last week I mentioned that I felt I need to scratch my full coverage itch. Well, that scratched it yesterday, plus my temperature stitching this week, because I'm doing History of Chocolate and Catching Rays. So quite a lot of full coverage going on in my life this week, which was good. Now, the main piece I've worked on, which I've absolutely loved working on this week, is by Lavender and Lace. I loved it so much that it came off a Q-snap and onto a scroll bar. It's on one of my Omnic scroll frames. This is World Peace Angel from Lavender and Lace. I am along the bottom somewhere. So this sat in Purda for a long time being about 9 years, I think, because I was so fed up using the metallics petite treasure braid on it. I was just scunnered, and I knew I had where I was working there was tons and tons. Most of the treasure braid in this is down around the bottom of the dress, and I was just so scunnered with it that it went away and I could not face picking it up. However, I got over that, as you will see, and I've done so much of it this week. I've got most of it done now at the bottom, and I'm so pleased with how it's looking. So let me share with you what we're talking about here. There we go. Put my head through the side here. You can still hopefully hear me. So I filled all that in down here. And I did all this wriggly stuff up for the side of what's going to be our cloak. Oh, and it's tremendous. See the sparkle? I don't know if it's really coming through on the camera there. But, oh, I'm so pleased with how this is progressing now. So I'll probably just work, if I keep going this week, I'm not made up my mind yet, I'll probably just work more along this way just to get along that way a bit. There's a wee bit more metallic to go along the bottom here somewhere as well. And I've tried to finish the edges of this blue. But oh, she's gorgeous. I'm so pleased with how that turned out with the metallic on it. Well worth it this week, well worth the effort I've put into it. So pleased with how that's looking. This is a piece of 32 count natural linen of some sort, which is not my normal when there's lots of bees, but back in 2016 when this was last looked at, I didn't know as much as I do now. However, the beads will be made to work, one way or another. Like I said last week, it might be interpretive rather than representative. For the small ones. The big ones will be fine. They're the individual. See these wee individual holes down here? They're for Mill Hill 40557, the kind of normal size gold beads. And these bits here are for 557, the petites. And there's lots of that going on through the piece. Oh, she's lovely. So pleased with how that's turned out. Back on my stand. Right then, I think that's all the whips. That's us at 27 minutes. That's not bad. So that's temperature stitching and whips. So next thing we'll look at is a finished object. This is from Stitching Book Club from a few years ago. This is a limited edition one, which Kristen was very fortunate to be able to chart. Stitching Book Kristen's charting is lovely for these books that she picks to do these pieces for. This was a stitch along, so it was released in parts, and I finished it. I think I was probably a bit late in finishing it, but finish it I did. This is the Chronicles of Narnia, and this was stitched on... I'm looking at the fabric. This was stitched a few years ago now. I was still working when I stitched this. This would be 2021, 22 maybe, or thereabouts. I think this is yes, this will be 28 count because I see I added some beads to it here and there for myself. It's a 28 count blue linen from somewhere, no idea where, cannot remember. It's a fat quarter. Yes, it is a fat quarter. And here's what it looks like. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I really need to get this display board done. Now we're coming into the summer, though, that's one of my projects. This project board to hold things up against it. There it is. I'll hold it back here. You can get the full benefit. It says the Chronicles of Narnia at the top, and then the surname of the children, Pevensey. And underneath Narnia, we've got the words, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we've got the children's names. We've got Peter, Edward, Susan, and Lucy. We've got Mr. Tumnus there at the lamppost, that iconic lamppost. We have one of those in our garden, which I often refer to as the Narnia one. There was one morning in the summer when it went up. 4 years ago now. We bought it out at Dobby's, a garden centre chain near Livingston. It was our one that we bought it at. And Carl's likes staying up late to watch his films. And when he's in that kind of phase, he'll generally come to bed about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And in the summer, we're in daylight by that point. So I woke up one morning, came down, opened the blinds in the kitchen, looked out, and the lamp had been planted in the garden. And I was thinking, when did that go in? Because when I went to bed the previous night, there was no lamp. I woke up the next morning, there was a lamp. So he told me later on, when he eventually crawled out the pit, that that had gone up about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was thinking, oh my goodness, what were the neighbours thinking if they heard him rustling about in the back garden? Amazing what you find in the garden when you wake up. So I was very pleased with that. Other things on this to look at. I added some beads here and there. So I put some beads in the middle of there. I think I put this. I put them in the crown. And just scattered them throughout. Put them in the rays around the lamp. I love this piece. I thought it was really nice. I've got another one for Christmas to stitch. Jane Eyre, which I really must get to. It's one of my favourite stories. Right, so that was Chronicles of Narnia. So that was fun. I enjoyed stitching that. So I can go back. Right, what's next? What have we got? Bags. So bags from the Cupboard of Doom. As I said, we're getting near the end of that. But we are going to the shelves of surprises, so don't worry, there will still be a section. And the charts will start fitting in as well. So this isn't one of my bags. This is a bag I bought off eBay, I think. I can't recall the lady I bought it from. Tracy, I think her name was. So what lives in here is a country cottage needlework piece. Love lives here. That's what it's going to look like. And I started this, oh my goodness, I started this in November 2022 and I'm not finished it yet. What can I say? What can I say? Right, let's see if I can get it out of the bag. So this is in the bag and it's Q-snap. The board, there's no reason why I haven't, because the board was just about finished. I'm all the way around, I'm just filling in the kind of checkerboard round up and down the side there. It's a lovely wee piece, as you can see. So I'm just filling in, just working in the pink now, filling in this checkerboard. This could actually go into temperature stitching when I think about it. There's an idea. This could replace History of Chocolate. That's that problem sorted. Because that would get me finishing those squares. Ideal. It's a nice piece. Stitching it on something. Did I keep a note of what I'm stitching it on? Oh, I did. The tags here were in luck. This is a Fibre and a Whim Fat 8, 32 count latte it's called. Stitching this 2/2. Yeah, 2/2 using the called for Classic Colourworks. There's a thread there needs cut. Hang on a second, just till I do a snipping. There we go. Right. There's a colour palette here. Wrap them around each other a wee bit and get a better view of what's going on. There we go. Nice colours. Yes, that could stay out. What a good idea, Stuart. I surprise myself at times. So, I'll put that back in that bag. So that'll get some progress now. That'll get an extra, if that comes out for 10 times, I'll get 1,000 stitches on it. Right, that can just go in the basket then. Doesn't need to go back in the cupboard. And then the other piece that I found and I pulled out. There's one other bag I'm looking for, because I know it's got a few smalls from Jane Greenough that I bought from the Sewing Quarter on Selly Telly. Right, let me just take the picture out of this so you don't see what it is before I'm ready to show you. So this is one of my bags. This is a vinyl fronted bag. This is the back, obviously. That lovely K facet fabric with Matching in the middle, vinyl front. This is one of my, I say it myself, it's not kind of one of, no, it's one of, it's sewn alright, this one. I think I'm still learning about these vinyl fronted bags and cursing this folding the border over, but we're getting there. Anyway, what lives in this? This is a Teresa Wentzler miniature. I do like my Teresa Wentzler, more on that soon. This is Above the Clouds, one of the dragon pieces that are, you can only get these in the secondary market now. Teresa withdrew her dragons for personal reasons. So this is reminiscent of the big one with the dragon, the name of which I cannot remember now, but I've got it started. The big one with the dragon wrapped around a castle. This is a mini version of, well, it's not of that because it's a very different style dragon, but it's kind of the same idea. It might be mini, but there's still all the blends you would expect. I've even picked my fabric for it. Have I started it? Oh, I have. No, I'm saying started it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have got 6 stitches. So this has been stitched on a piece of fabric from Stephanie, hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie, called Keridwen or Seridwen. It's stitched in Monaco, 32 count, no, 28 count Monaco. Yeah, lovely piece of fabric. And there's a tiny, I don't even want to call it a start. Ridiculous. What else is in here? Oh, the threads. This is my key drops, or keyring drops on a stitch holder. These are all the threads. So those are the threads, but there'll be a wheen of blends going on, I'm sure. I'm going to just have a look. I don't know where the chart is. That's concerning. Ah. Oh, well now. There's a task for this afternoon. Oh no, here it is. Whew, I think I'll be able to put the chart. And it's kind of computer rendered, so we're alright. I'll show you a tiny bit. If anybody can extrapolate the full chart out of this, more power to your elbow. So it's not the hand drawn, so it's computer rendered, so we're alright. And there's the key. So that small number of threads equates to that massive, massive key. What the actual? But then that's why we all love Teresa Wentzler designs. So that's what was in there. I'd forgotten that was there actually. I'd completely forgotten there was a start on it. So that needs to come into play at some point soon. Supernatural, my other stitch along from Witchy Stitcher that is in Temptress Stitching, it's had 10 goes, but I want to get that down to the bottom before I put it away, so all I need to do for the border is just the bottom line of it. So that might replace it, so I don't think I need to put that back in the basket. I can sit down there as a candidate, which is good. Right, that's the bags this week. So, Stitchy Kindness. Well, let me talk to you about Stitchy Kindness. Wow, we have things to talk about. So, let me just get this to the side. A lovely lady called Dawn Atkins. Dawn did say I could mention her name on my channel, so thank you, Dawn. Had got in touch with me some time ago, towards the start of the year, I think, saying, this is a link into my Teresa Wentzler I was mentioning before there, that she had a Teresa Wentzler book if I would be interested in it. Oh, my eyes lit up, my ears pricked up, and I said, oh yes please. Not quite biting her hand off, but if it was within biting distance, that hand would have been gone. I thought that's tremendous, because these books are rare to get hold of now, very difficult. So she said she'd be able to get that posted to me in April. We are now in April, and the posting happened, and she messaged me to let me know it was on its way. Just to warn me to be in for the postage. There's one or two other things in it for you as well that you can use either for yourself or as giveaways, which was, I thought, oh, that's really nice. And the box arrived, both Carl and I sat downstairs and opened it, and it was amazing what was in this box. So let me share. So first off, there was this wee pencil case, nice wee pencil case of butterflies, and in this pencil case was, as he opens it up again, oops, a whole lot of Madeira Glisten Gloss. Beautiful collection of them. So let me show you that. I'm not going to see them all out, but you get the gist. So these are going to be fun to use. These can get mixed in with the threads that Carol got me at Christmas, and I'll be able to do some lovely things with those. So that was very nice. That was very, very welcome. There's some lovely colours in there to play with. There's a nice sparkly red. Can't you go wrong with a sparkly red, can you? And all sorts of sparkle. Oh aye, there's scope for all sorts in that lot. So they're not going to be a giveaway. They are pure stash. They are for me to use. Next we have a Dimensions package from the Charts and Charms series. This one is called Midnight Enchanter, and it's that one. So you've got the charms, that's the design it's going to be, and the pattern in the pack. Now, I think I may already have this. I haven't gone hunting yet, but I think I got this off eBay fully kitted up. Somebody had kitted it and then I bought it, because for some reason or other decided not to do it. I'm going to have a rummage through my stash just to make sure. If that's the case, this will go into the giveaway, definitely. I'm saving a couple of things to the very end. The next one that came up was Cutty Sark Chart, Heritage Crafts, or Heritage Classics rather. There's John Clayton. And it doesn't say, I don't know why John Clayton's in my head. I think he's something to do with Heritage Stitchcraft, Heritage Classics. This is a lovely design. So I'm in two minds about this one at the moment. This one I might keep for myself to stitch. A DMC All Our Yesterdays kit. So this is, I'm just rummaging. So this is the chart and fabric. There's a piece of 16 count creamy Ada. Let me take that. I don't want to turn around because you'll see the bit of the chart then. So that's the Ada, 16 count. So this I won't stitch, but this will be a giveaway. Definitely. Next one is a blackwork design, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Charles Rennie Mackintosh style, Art Deco, that's it. Called After the Dance. It's a very nice design in blackwork. Now again, it's not kind of something I would stitch, so that will be a giveaway. I mean, this box just kept on giving. Every time I found something, every time I left something else, there was something else to see. Excuse me, I must have a drink of water. The next one is an anchor counted cross stitch design called Our Rainy Manchester. It's quite a fun piece. And this is a full kit, fabric, the lot. What's it got? 16 count cream Ada fabric, anchor cotton, and the chart of course. So again, that's not a piece I would stitch, but it will be a giveaway. The next project piece is another anchor kit. This is a 14 count Ada kit with everything needed to do the doing on it. It's called Save the Earth. The writing on it is Save the Earth, it's the only planet with chocolate. Again, that's not a piece I would stitch, but that will be a giveaway. So there's a few giveaways coming up, but we'll talk about that in a wee while. Now then, moving on, she obviously sent me the Teresa Wentzler book, and she also sent me a book from the Embroiderers Guild Practical Library, Making Samplers, with contributions including Jane Greenough, Brenda Keyes and Joe Verso. I don't know Brenda Keyes, but I know the names Jane Greenough and Joe Verso. Jane Greenough is an absolute hoot. I love watching her on the Selling. She's hilarious. See her and John Scott together. They've known each other for years. Oh, it's a comedy show, true comedy. Anyway, this book is gorgeous. This book I am keeping. That's just some of what the joys that are in it. There's all sorts of lovely things going on in here. So I'm just trying to find stuff I can show you. It's not charts. There's a section of map samplers. There's Old Cray Sampler by Pamela Warner. It's a beautiful book. There's lots of detail, lots of explanations and pictures, and there are lots of designs that will be lovely to stitch. There's something there about specialty stitches. Let's see if I can just, if I show it like that. Look at that. This here. That's a sampler greeting card. I'm holding it that way because the chart's over on the other page you cannot see. Isn't that beautiful? And that's all, heaven only knows what, funny stitches. Let's just leave it at that. There's another one, Contrasting Textures it's called. I think you can see that. I can't see what you're seeing. Oh, aye, there you go. So that book is a joy, and I shall enjoy that very much. And then the pièce de résistance, the whole reason for the package, was this gorgeous book by Teresa Wentzler, the Fantasy Collection, and the dragon in question I was talking about briefly is on the front cover, as it should be. So there are 10 designs in this book, and here we are on the back. We've got a carousel, we've got the castle sampler, we've got magical night, day and night fairy, we've got Rapunzel, Pegasus, Cinderella, and another. Oh no, that's Unicorn. Sorry, that one's Unicorn and that's Pegasus. And there's full glossy pictures of these inside. There's one of them, and then the charts, which are very, very clear. So I'm so pleased with this, Dawn. Thank you so much for thinking of me and taking the trouble to send that to me. It came in a box that was originally a box from a shoe shop for size 14 boots. And I was looking at that. Well, Dawn had warned me about the boots first, and I was thinking, what's she talking about? And it came, and I'd asked her again, and I looked, and then I thought, oh my goodness, somebody's got big feet. Turns out it's her son who has size 14 feet, she explained to me. It was a very good sized box to contain all these goodies though. So Dawn, as I said, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm delighted to have received that. Your generosity is much appreciated, as it will be for the giveaways I'm planning as well for my viewers. So on the giveaways, I'm not doing one this week, but next week I will, because the week after that is my birthday. So I thought I'll do a giveaway for my birthday. So we'll talk about that then. So come back and see what's going to be involved there. Let me just get all these to the side. Right, what else are we talking about? So that was all of that. Right, now, Flosstubers returning. We've had a couple of returning Flosstubers that I want to shout out. So first of all, another Scot. A lovely lady called Amanda Alba Stitcher, who has been absent from our screens for far too long, reappeared and popped up on my notifications, much to my delight. Not last week, the week before. Amanda is known as Alba Stitcher. She stitches a variety of projects. She's even dabbled now in full coverage. I think she's feeling the influence and the enabling from some of us have been saying about full coverage. So she's had a dabble and is doing really well with that. But she does lots of lovely pieces, lots of plum streets. She's done some lovely birds recently. Well worth going to watch and see what she has to share with you. Heartily recommend watching her. And then last night, Ashley Yas Stitch popped up on my notifications after an absence of a year, which he did explain very well in his video. So it was lovely to see Ashley back. Welcome back to you both. And to my viewers, I hope if you haven't watched either of them already, please go give them a look and support their channels. It's lovely to see them both back. Voting I talked about. So let me just reach down and get my tablet. So voting. I thought, when I was talking about full coverage last week, scratching my full coverage itch, I decided it's maybe time to do some new stuff. I have, well, to my horror, and I stopped counting at this point, I have at least 20 full coverage pieces kitted up and not started. This is ridiculous. So what I thought was I'd put them on a decision wheel on my tablet. I'm just opening up the tablet now, but please, I was playing ball today, it's recognised my thumb. And I've put them on a decision wheel. And I thought I'll spin that wheel and pick two. And then over this coming week, I'd let you, my viewers, vote on which of these two pieces I should start. And I would do probably maybe 1,000 stitches into it. And then we would repeat the progress for the remaining 19. And so on and so forth. There are more than 20 in that room of mine. But I thought, no, I really don't want to know anymore. So 20 I decided was quite sufficient. So I did take screenshots just to let you see what we're talking about. Where's my gallery? Gallery. And full coverage to start. So you can see what we're looking at. So we'll just swipe through them. Well, maybe if the tablet behaves itself. So we'll start there. So we've got Stonehenge from Pain-Free Crafts. We've got Trelawney's Library from Cross Stitch Studio. Oh, you've got BBC News now. Hang on. Yay. The joy to technology and fat fingers. There we go. Then we've got Rainbow Castle. This is normal size, no max colours or fancy, from Heaven and Earth Designs. That's a Sira Marchetti. We've got One Ring to Rule Them All from Tilton Crafts. We've got Dragon Charm, is it? Yes, Dragon Charm, Anne Stokes. Dragon Charm by Anne Stokes from Pain-Free Crafts. We've got Cheeky, another toothy Cheshire Cat from Charlton Creations, from Nikki. We've got Zen Duck, a Gordon Fitchett design from Heaven and Earth Designs. We've got, what's this? The Wizard from Heaven and Earth Designs. Who's that? Artwork by Sira Marchetti. I do like Sira Marchetti's artwork. We've got a Lisa Parker piece called, I'm trying to read this backwards, Witchwood Express. We've then got the Antique Shop from Amy Stewart. Some of these are from years ago. I mean, we're talking about 10 years ago these have been sitting. We've got Supersize Max Colour Treasure Hunt Bookshelf. Emily is finally coming up to getting started. Crafty Emily works on this faithfully day by day and has tremendous progress to show on this. We've got another Sira Marchetti one. Supersize Max Colour, Dark Jungle Temple and Tigers. We've got Sistine Chapel from Heaven and Earth Designs. Now, this is a regular size, which in and of itself is 997 high. Go away, I'm not ready for you yet. When I was buying this, I noticed that there was a super size of this which I went to look at, which is 999 high. No difference in the width. There's only 2 more rows in height. And I'm thinking, why? Why would somebody do that? I'm sure they had their reasons. Anyway, moving on. We've got St. Nicholas from Donna Gelsinger. We've got the Spirit of Winter Robin from a Quick Stitch from Sira Marchetti. Don't be fooled by that name, Quick Stitch, by the way. Nothing quite going on there. We've got, let's have to look at this to read it. This is by Ed Beard Jr. Mischievous Doings, rather, from Heaven and Earth Designs. Nice colour palette in there, I like that. We've got balloons. This is Hot Air Balloon Sunrise by Lars Stewart, Amy's other half. Beautiful design. I love hot air balloons for some reason. I don't know what it is about them. They fascinate me. We've got a lovely cheeky wee cat there. This is Feline. What's this called? Festive Feline by Lisa Parker. We've got something. I need to turn this around. Jeff Haney's California Dreaming. Look at that. Look at the colours now. That's fun. I've got Birds, Butterflies and Blooms World Map from Amy Stewart. That's confetti heaven or hell, depending on your preference. And that's them all. So they're all... I feel shameful admitting this, but hey ho, such is the stitching life. They're all kitted, ready to go. Fabric, the lot. Some of them were kitted long before gridded fabric was a thing on my radar. But that piece that I stopped doing, the Tiger Family in the Jungle one, that I've snipped a bit out of, that's 28 count, so that can get repurposed to one of them as well if it gets picked. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel twice. He says, we'll spin the wheel twice and get 2 out of it, and then you, my viewers, my gentle viewers, will tell me over the coming week which one of these I'm going to start. So let's spin. Tap the wheel. So first up, we've got Rainbow Castle. Oh, I need to write this down. I'll put these in the comments in the show notes, just so we all know. So Rainbow Castle is the first one to be in the voting category. All right, and we'll respin again, and we get Wizard. So that's good. They're 2 lovely designs. So they're both regular size, nothing funny going on there, and they would be repurposed onto that 28 count gridded fabric for whichever one is picked. So just to remind you which ones we're talking about. Gallery. Where's my gallery? I've lost my gallery. There we go. Right. What would I say? Rainbow Castle and Wizard. That's Mischievous Doings. Wrong Wizard. So let's just scroll back. So there's Wizard. Let's see the machete. And then Rainbow Castle. Oh, they're both Cedar Machete. That's brilliant. And there's Rainbow Castle. So I have no preference as to which one. It will be whatever you pick will please me. So that's that. So that's the 2 pieces to vote on: Rainbow Castle or Wizard. I'll put them down below as well, just so as you know which pieces. So thank you for that. I hope you find that a bit of fun, and you can laugh with me for having 20 full coverage kits kitted up, not started. Well, but that's fun. I enjoy kitting up. I love organising my threads. Great fun. One of the things I love doing. So that's us reached the end. We're just about at an hour, which is good. That seems to be kind of how this is panning out these days. So I hope you enjoyed this visit with me on this Sunday morning. I'll get this sorted out and uploaded later today for you. As always, please comment below. Let me know what you're working on as you're watching. It's always a joy to me to see what people are stitching on. I love knowing around the world people are stitching while they're watching me. It's great. I don't know what it is about that, but I just like it. It gives me that fuzzy glow. Again, please engage with me in the comments on Instagram if you want to reach out to me, and on stuartsandstitches@gmail.com. If you're interested in any of my bags, please do get in touch and we can have a wee chat about that. I've ordered fabric this weekend. Well, Friday it was I ordered it from one of my favourite suppliers, Quirky Cottons, and that should be in my hands next week. I have a couple of things I want to make for myself, and I need to get some bags made as well, just to build up my stock again. I'll share those fabrics with you next week, just to let you see what I've got in hand. And I think that's everything for this week. So without further ado, bye bye. See you next week. Happy stitching.